TBTC brings fiber to area homes and businesses through a fast and reliable network. Please visit TBTC's website or by calling 575-585-2700. King's Treasure Thrift Store, helping young women facing unplanned pregnancies. Located on 1440 Missouri Avenue in Las Cruces, with additional locations in Alamogordo and Cloudcroft.
Hello, thank you for tuning in to this episode of Experiences, New Mexico. One of the most popular attractions in Alamogordo is the Alameda Park Zoo, which started as an attraction for the passengers of the railroad as they traveled through Alamogordo.
Hi, I'm Bud Weiser. I'm director of the Alameda Park Zoo in Alamogordo, New Mexico. Today I'd like to talk a little bit about the history of this zoo because it is the oldest zoo in the Southwest. The Alameda Park Zoo was established in 1898 by the town founders, the Eddies. They laid this out in the original town plat as a deer park. And back in 1898 and early 1900s there was a large waterfowl pond at the south end of the zoo, and with waterfowl, and I've been able to document a bear on a cage on an island in 1908. The Eddies designed this park so that railway travelers, when they stopped at the south end for refueling with water and wood from our Sacramento mountains, he wanted a very pleasant and attractive place for the passengers to get out and enjoy themselves and hopefully encourage investment and growth in Alamogordo. Since then, the zoo part has kind of developed as a small town menagerie normally do. Someone has a raccoon, they build a cage, and somebody finds a baby bobcat, and they helter-skelter build enclosures in the park. Eventually, the Parks Department in Alamogordo took it over, built a series of pipe and chain link enclosures, and the zoo kind of grew as a menagerie over the years. When I arrived, there were no records taken of the animals, except for one, an African lion, the cub. I found a photograph of an African lion cub that came in 1985. And the photograph was a group of police officers in Alamogordo with this male cub. I don't know where they got this lion from, but they obtained it before the enclosure was built. So Alamogordo police officers traded off raising this kitten in their homes. His name was Hercules, and he was known by all in Alamogordo because as an adult, his roar could be heard all the way to the edges of Alamogordo. So everybody in Alamogordo knew Hercules. We're now standing in front of our brand new monkey jungle for our capuchins. They're really enjoying exploring their new digs. In fact, we finished the exhibit about 4 months ago, and 2 months after that, we had our first baby capuchin born in this enclosure. When baby capuchins are born, they latch on to mom and don't let go for months upon months. It's not till she'll be 4 months old or so before she'll start separating a little bit by her mother. But it's really fun to come and watch these animals explore their new fine exhibits. You come and see our new state-of-the-art primate exhibit. In fact, in the design of this, we built a kind of retirement villa for our older primates to live out their lives in luxury and in comfort. Well, we're now approaching our 120th year of existence at the Alameda Park Zoo. This zoo has progressed tremendously and is a very nice, comfortable zoo to visit. The citizens of Alamogordo just adore our zoo, and we have visitors actually from all over the world. So anytime you're in Alamogordo, make sure you stop. We're at the Alameda Park Zoo. We're right on the main drag. You can't miss us, and I guarantee you will enjoy your visit to our zoo.
In 1997, a group of individuals got together to honor veterans by creating a museum for everyone to experience.
Hello, my name is Marie WUERSCHING. I'm with the American Armed Forces Museum as a volunteer. I started volunteering in 1997. 20 years ago, in August of 1997, a small group of interested persons gathered in the Alamogordo Public Library to determine if there would be a sufficient local support for a museum to honor all American veterans. Hoping that the museum idea would be well received and agreeing that such a museum was necessary, the plan to proceed was put into motion. Bylaws were drawn up and a constitution was formulated. On 2 September 1997, the museum was registered with the state of New Mexico as a nonprofit organization. Interim officers were named, and the first election of officers was held on 11 November 1997, Veterans Day. On 22 February 1999, the American Armed Forces Museum was awarded exempt status under Section 501c3 of the Internal Revenue Code, effective 2 September 1997. At the close of 1999, more than 2,000 items had already been donated to the museum. The collection since then has grown rapidly. The museum commemorates all wars and military engagements in which American Armed Forces fought. It represents all branches of service. The American Armed Forces Museum volunteers have spent hundreds of hours fundraising, primarily through the sale of raffle tickets. In addition to the money raised by fundraising, state and federal funding was received to purchase land and build a museum building. The museum was opened to the public on 4 July 2011 and is open 5 days a week, Tuesdays through Saturdays from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. Museum volunteers keep the museum operating. Volunteers have planted more than 200 trees and shrubs, built wooden benches, a gazebo, and wooden planters. They have installed a sprinkler system on the entire 2+ acres and continue to maintain it and the museum grounds. An area that is considered hallowed ground, the Walk of Heroes, continues to be developed. It was designed by one of our volunteers and is dedicated to honoring the service and sacrifice of the United States Armed Forces. 5 wooden benches represent the 5 branches of the United States military: United States Army, United States Marine Corps, United States Navy, United States Air Force, and United States Coast Guard in order of precedence. When completed, the Walk of Heroes will provide a place of honor and reflection for veterans, their families and friends, and those who wish to show their respect to the servicemen and women who serve. In addition to the museum and the Walk of Heroes, the museum board of directors and other volunteers have for the past 20 years placed flags on the graves of veterans in rural Otero County for Memorial Day and again for Veterans Day. The flags are left on the grave until replaced by AAFM volunteers on these 2 holidays. For Memorial Day 2017, 681 veteran burials in rural cemeteries were identified. Now that does not include Monte Vista or Immaculate Conception cemeteries. Many hours of work have been done to the museum, and we hope that you will come and visit us. We are located at 144 US 82, Alamogordo, New Mexico, 88310. We have a phone number, 575-437-6000, if you would rather call.
Outside of taking a trip on an aircraft, not many of us will experience flight. But for those who are interested in soaring hundreds of feet in the air without the luxury of an airplane, this next experience is just for you.
I'm Robin Hastings, and I'm part of the Rio Grande Soaring Association. We're in Alamogordo, New Mexico, in what us pilots call Cox Field. It is a large landing zone that the city has very generously let aviation enthusiasts use for drones, for model rocketry, and for hang gliding and paragliding launches and landings. We have a superb site here. It is nationally, even world renowned, and the site is called Dry Canyon. It's right behind me, off in the distance, up on those mountains. Hang gliding is actually an activity over a century old. The Wright brothers were hang glider pilots before they put a motor on their hang glider and turned it into an airplane. I and my friend Bill Cummings here have been flying for 30, 40 years, and it is just an astounding, exhilarating sport. If you're interested, but you say, oh, I can't do that, I'm afraid of heights, you're the person I want to talk to. You have to be at least a little bit afraid, or you're not going to take it seriously. The amazing thing is, remember, I'm afraid of heights too, standing at the edge of a cliff and going, whew, that's a long way down. But when you launch that hang glider, in your mind, you know, the more altitude I have, the safer I am. The more time I have to get out a parachute if I need it. I've never needed my parachute. I don't even know what color it is. But your body knows that you're safe. You're suspended. You're being supported by the hang glider. You're flying. The scenery is 2,000 feet below you, and it's just beautiful background scenery. To contact us, we are on the internet. You can go to Rio Grande Soaring Association. So if you would love to experience flight as a bird does, hang gliding and paragliding may be the sports for you.
And here's another experience for you to enjoy.
Hi, my name is Peter Hood. I'm a professor of biology at New Mexico State University, and I'm in charge of the Vertebrate Museum, which is a facility that goes back to the late 1800s, in which we keep specimens of animals, birds, mammals, reptiles, and amphibians, whether they're fossil or living animals. In late November of 2016, I received an email on a Friday night from a family whose little boy had tripped on something in the desert that they thought might be a fossil. I asked them to send me a picture of it. They did, and I was pretty excited about what I saw. We went out the very next morning to take a look at it, and sure enough, it was a fossil of what most people would refer to as a mastodon. There was relatively little of it showing on the surface, and we uncovered enough to determine that there was probably a skull underground. So we buried it back up and found out whose land it belonged to, sought out permission to excavate it, and over the course of a few months raised the money to do that, contacted students to volunteer to help out in the excavation, and then finally in late May we completed the excavation and dug it up and brought the specimen back to New Mexico State University. It does in fact include a skull, a nearly complete skull. It's missing one tusk, but the jaw is attached to, it is included with that specimen, and it's quite possibly only the second complete skull that's ever been found in the state of New Mexico. It's a very, very rare find. Students are already involved and will continue to be. It's very exciting work for me as well as for the students, and some of them will likely go on to careers in paleontology, the study of fossils. This is a good start for some of the students. But the skull itself is something that remains in plaster jacket right now, and it's going to take probably a matter of years before we can get that completely prepared out and hardened and ready for people to look at.
We all have our local favorites that have been hotspots for decades.
Hi, I'm Robin Myers. We're here in front of Hi-De-Ho Drive-In, family-owned business since 1979, one of the last original drive-ins. The original family, from what I understand, is Mr. King, who had it since 1952. Well, I think we're popular still because we're homemade, not commercialized. Everything's made fresh here daily, nothing frozen. We know our customers by name. We know what they want. We see them pull up and we start cooking for them.
Hello, my name is Micah Myers. I'm Robin Myers' daughter. We are taking over ownership of Heidi-Ho Drive-In, and my grandma is the original owner from 1979, like my mom had said, my grandma Patricia Delaney. I started working here when I was in high school under my grandma, so she kind of showed me everything about how she did things at Heidi-Ho. As you can see, it's kind of bustling and busy in here because it is our lunch rush, but we are known for our Tiger Burger. That's our most popular burger, which comes with fries and a drink. The Tiger Burger is 2 5-ounce patties, so it's double meat, double cheese, comes with green chili if you prefer that. Could also come with bacon, pineapples, grilled onions, whatever side you could think of it can come with. We use hatch green chili. It's dressed with mustard, lettuce, tomato, pickle, onion, and we can dress it however you want, depending on what you want. So one story that really sticks out to me is some people who met here in the 60s, and they actually came recently and they met here and they've been married ever since they met here, and so they have their anniversary dinner here out on the patio. And so that's one story that really sticks out to me, and I know a lot of older couples and older people that have met here and, you know, went to high school and came to eat burgers here back in the 60s, 70s, and it's still the same, and it's still a drive-in that they can count on being here. We've had some dances here and parties here, and so it's just important to me that it is a family owned, and we do have our family working here. We also have our manager's family working here, and they've been here with us for a very long time too. So when you come in, you kind of know the people that are here, and we know our customers as well, so that's important to us. You can't have the Tiger without having one of our homemade cherry limes, and it's freshly squeezed. We also have lemonades, limeades, fresh ice cream, malts, vanilla malts, butterscotch malts that a lot of our older customers enjoy as well. With the cherry limes, we make it with our own sugar water that is mixed every shift, so we use hot water and sugar. We have our limes delivered fresh from El Paso, limes and lemons. And we also use the cherry syrup, so we don't ever use Sprite or 7-Up or anything else in our cherry limes. So they're old school and they're fresh cherry limes and lemonades and limeades. We love looking forward to seeing our locals and anybody else coming from El Paso, Las Cruces, all the surrounding areas, and even from other states. We welcome everybody here at the Heidi-Ho Drive-In, and we look forward to seeing you and look forward to serving you.
Toy trains have fascinated audiences young and old for over a century. Could you imagine owning a train that runs on 2 miles of track that you can take a ride on? That's just what this next experience is all about.
Hello, my name's Ron Offley. I'm representing the Toy Train Depot today, just to give you a little bit about the history and how it got started and what we're doing now. This building that you're in now is 3 rooms. There's the actual historical museum, actually a depot on the train that runs north and south out of here. It came originally from Torrance, New Mexico, and then was moved to Corona, then down to the mall here in Alamogordo, and eventually onto the park here in Alamogordo. Inside this building, we have it set up to talk about toy trains, or to display the toy trains and show some of the history. If you think about a toy train back in the old days, it was probably built by hand. It would be a little steam engine with a track of about 16 inches, 7.5 inches, built by some old machinists who had nothing else to do. And the modeling industry then just got smaller and smaller. So then we moved down to about a 3-inch track. And we have an example of that in here. Probably the biggest change was when they went to electricity with the company Lionel. Lionel started off with a standard gauge, was about this wide, 3.5 inches. Of the standard gauge that Lionel first built was quite expensive. Only the rich people could have it. But then they started building more and more, had much more interest. The cars got smaller and smaller, and of course their competition came up. So the scales we have now would be The most popular would be the O gauge, it's about this wide, and then the HO gauge, which is half the size, and the N gauge.
Hello, my name is Joseph Tuttle, and we're here at the Toy Train Depot Museum and Train Ride at the north end of Alameda Park in Alamogordo, New Mexico. I'm here to talk to you today about the train ride that we have. It's a little over 2 miles long. We have 4 different trains that we run on various occasions. We have a Baltimore and Ohio, a Western Pacific, a Union Pacific, and an 1865 steamer. Our train ride is about 2¼ miles long. It runs from the north end of Alameda Park down to the Alameda Park Zoo at the south end of the park. It's 8 to 12 miles an hour. It's a nice peaceful train ride through the park where you have the Sacramento Mountains on your left side and the Union Pacific Railroad on your right. It's great for adults, it's great for children. You can even bring your dog if you'd like to. We've had people come from literally all over the world to ride our train. We've had people who locally come and do their best to try to get one ride on each train as often as they can whenever they see we have a different one out. The trains were all built in the mid-50s by a company in Kansas, which later moved to New York. They run off of Wisconsin diesel gasoline motors, 33 horsepower, and they have about 2 to 3 tons each in weight. Some of them have 3 cars, some of them have 2 cars. The steam engine even has a locomotive. They're great for photo opportunities. They're fun to ride on. It's a pretty unique experience to do around here in southern New Mexico. You may notice from the front that our building is a little unique, and that's because of the fact that it is actually a 121-year-old train depot originally in Corona, New Mexico. The building was moved from Corona to Torrance, from Torrance to the White Sands Mall parking lot, where it was from there moved here, and it became the Toy Train Depot. It looks small, it looks old, it's fun, it's unique, and inside we have a museum that features decades worth of toy trains and models. Likely there's so many one-of-a-kinds in there, and just fun things that you're not really ever going to see anywhere else.
When you come into our museum, here you're going to see Mr. Koval's original ideas of all the collection and modeling that he did. So we have operating layouts of many different scales, and they take up pretty much the whole space. And then we have dedicated static displays of almost every engine you can think of. People come in here and say, yes, I had that when I was a kid. And it was, it can be quite interesting. And the people who come here are from many different backgrounds. Some are very experienced collectors, and some are just kids interested in models and stuff like that, and some are just families who want to get away. We have some very old static displays and some that run, and we have some of the more modern layouts and the very broad set of skills that go into making a model layout and keeping it running especially. I think you'll really enjoy this museum because it's got something for everybody. It's got for the experienced modeler and people interested in railroad history in the Southwest especially. For kids, we got plenty of kids toys to play with and to ride on outside on our outdoor train.
Thanks for joining us today. Make sure to tune in next time as we experience New Mexico.